Hello there fellow NPCs, I'm Scythe, and today we are going to celebrate Morgana's birthday. We are playing the house in Fata Morgana, Requiem for Innocence. And as I said, it's Morgana's birthday and she's apparently celebrating it for the first time. So we'll see how much fun we can have with that. Or are we? We'll see if those raiders will show up or not. Either way, let's go. Morgana arrived as the sun was beginning to set and our preparations neared completion. Myself, Maria, Jaren, and a handful of other girls who didn't have to work were gathered in the back room. Dishes stacked with food lined the floor, and our group sat in a circle around it, several different conversations going on at once. I apologize for not being able to assist in any way. Don't apologize, it's your birthday! Sit your little bum down and let the world revolve around you for once. if you insist. Atta girl, up and right down, not in the freaking corner! Hey, Morgana. There's space next to me. Oh. Yeah, let's keep this subtle, shall we? It's a much better spot than over there in the corner. You have easy access to anything you'd like to eat. Although I suppose if you wanted, I could get your food for you. I'll sit next to Maria. Don't think I didn't hear that. Hey there, Morgs! How's the drink? You had spinning yet? It most certainly is not. Well, let's make it a spin! Let's make the whole world spin! Whee! Wine is only to be used for nourishment. It is not meant for basic recreation. I'm not sure, but I don't think wine has any nourishment per se. Maybe it does. I mean, it is made from grapes. You shall be smitten down from above if... It's fine, don't worry. Even God's taking the day off to get wasted out of his mind. How dare you disrespect the Lord like that? Eat, drink, drink, eat, drink! Wait, stop, I can't... I'm in heaven, my stomach is in heaven. She's sound asleep. Girls act like it's her birthday we're celebrating here. What do you say? Want me to give her a good whack upside the head? No, it's fine. Let her sleep. She looks so happy. I would almost feel bad waking her. If you say so. You're the one in charge today. So, you and Jaren getting on alright? It looked like you were trying to keep your distance a little while back. I don't get that impression from you anymore, but if there's any friction at all, don't hesitate to let me know. I'm getting along fine with her now. If anything does come up, I will tell you. Okay. Well, I'm really glad to hear it. With Jaren, it's, well, what you see is what you get. And once you get past that, there's never a dull moment with her. Indeed. Although, it wasn't anything I did that cleared the air between us, but, oh? Never mind. And this asshole thinks because he's paying that means he can do whatever he feels like, and I'm having to tell him to back off and just, can't believe some of these guys. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, I got a good one too. The other day, this guy come in, totally shit-faced. Wait, are you serious? Why didn't you tell me about this earlier? I'd chase the prick off if I'd known. It seems like any time you get more than a couple of these girls together, conversation inevitably drifts back to work. Which, of course, is the subject Morgana's least keen on. She looks like she wants to run away. Guess I gotta step in. You guys think you could maybe change the subject? Like we have anything else to talk about? Making the birthday girl want to hide in a corner defeats the whole purpose, don't you think? Oh, no. Don't mind me. I don't have anything I want to talk about. At least eat something then. I've eaten plenty, thank you. I'm quite full. Then how about the cookies? They're barely sweet and dry as rocks, but they're edible. Jacob, you little bitch! You got some stones to shit-talk my cookies to my face. Stop it, Maria! Stop throwing things at me! God's sake, can you not show a modicum of decorum for just one day? Yeah, you're totally one to talk. You could try not to be a massive dick for once in your life. And one thing I've done to warrant this kind of abuse. You first, you're the one who started throwing accusations. There it is, right on schedule. You two little lovebirds, fight, fight, fight. We are not lovebirds! Blah. I don't even care anymore. You are right about one thing, though. This is Morgana's day, so let's change the subject. Like I said, I don't have anything to talk about. Sure you do! You just have to look a little harder. Doesn't you have to reminisce for us? It can be anything. Let's see, here's an idea. Are there any guys you got your eyes on? There is. Yeah! What? Seriously? Holy shit! Who is it? Tell me, who's the lucky guy? God. Ah. Don't give me that look, I don't need your sympathy. If you're gonna dream, dream big, right? Yeah, I guess where you're coming from, pining after all-powerful, all-knowing God, I'm with you. You bald-faced liar! The grass may be a hell of a lot greener up there, but it's a bit, far, don't you think? You're better off settling for the weeds down here. Did she just imply I'm a weed? Say, the young man over, Wait, stop right there! Don't say another word! Whoopsie, me and my big mouth, I almost did your job for you. Oh, damn, she's saying a lot here. Damn it, Maria. This is not good, like hell I'm gonna let her spill it on a whim. I have to do something before she has another slip of the tongue. Morgana? What she was trying to say is that I have to go. What? I have to go to the bathroom. Sure. Must say, ain't gonna last much longer if you keep this up. This is no laughing matter. Ah, what the hell? Don't throw things at me. You did it first. Damn it all. Now that was a good laugh. God, you're such a dork. How hard is it to just say it? It would have been easy if you hadn't cornered me like that. You expect me to believe you would have done it without a little nudge? I would have. Eventually. Eventually ain't gonna cut it. Now's the right time. And don't worry, me and the girls won't make fun of you too much for getting your rocks off to little girls. That's not the reason I like her. Besides, I would wait at least 4 years before, doesn't mean you can't tell her now. I think it'd do her wonders, really. She's, well, you know. So I think knowing someone cares about her lightened the load a bit. I mean, obviously we care about her too, she's like family. But there's some things sisterly love just can't hold a candle to. Mushy romance may not be my cup of tea, but that doesn't mean even I don't think it'd be nice to have something special every once in a while. When she comes back, give her the necklace and tell her how you feel. And if she turns you down, we can all have a good laugh about it. Marie and a few other girls chuckled. My lips had twisted almost into a knot from sheer, overwhelming discomfort. But at the same time, I knew she had a point. I could say how I felt now just as easily as 4 years from now. It couldn't develop into anything for some time yet, no, but simply letting Morgana know that someone cared about her, and her specifically, could very well lighten some of the load she bore. As much as she had warmed up to us, she still very clearly kept herself walled off. And though she tried to pretend otherwise, she did still get rather gloomy whenever she passed by something reflective. But if I could convince her that her physical appearance had no bearing on my feelings, then maybe, just maybe, it could clear away some of the clouds hanging over her. Possibly even light the way to the day when I could at last see her smile. That was all the motivation I needed. I'll do it. I'll tell her. Not only for myself, but for her as well. Yeah, that's not gonna work, generally speaking. Telling someone that you love them is for being for her sake, their sake. No, that's not how things work. I can do this. And now I make myself nervous as hell. Calm yourself, Jacopo. This is nothing. You infiltrated the Lord's manor for crying out loud. Telling a girl how you feel is considerably less likely to kill you. Even a child could do it. You look so tense your nerves could snap at any moment. I am not! God damn it. Please hurry up, Morgana. I want to get this over with as soon as possible. There it is. What's that? Sounded like a scream. Trouble with a client, maybe. No, it didn't sound like that kind of scream. Something's wrong. I can feel it in my gut. Maria, I need you to take the girls down to the cellar now. Alright, I'll send them down. But I'm coming with you to see what's up. It could just be our clients causing a ruckus. No, you go with the girls. I'll check it out. Now get moving. Okay, I'm going. Wake up, Jaren, come on! Now! Following the first, there were several more screams intermingled with what sounded like men shouting from the guest room. Something very bad was happening out there. My sword is back at the armory, damn it! Taking a brief detour to the kitchen to grab a knife, I then dashed through the corridor towards the source of the disturbance. Shoving my way past a several-layer thick makeshift curtain. Ah, no, help! Ah! Stay back! I'm just a customer, I don't have anything. Ah! What the hell was I seeing? Ah, help! Ah! Why was this happening? This seriously all they got? My shit's worth more than most of this garbage. What do you expect, huh? This is a brothel after all. Take the horse alive, you hear me? They'll probably sell more than anything else we find. They were laying waste to the brothel. Untrained, unarmed, and unclothed. The girls and their clients alike were helpless against the slaughter being rained down upon them. Bludgeoned, mutilated, massacred. A good dozen men, thieves by the look of it, had swarmed the brothel, utterly ravaging it. Blood splattered every which way, staining the colorful fabrics hanging on the walls. The stench of blood, screams of agony, cries of fear, and hoots of mad glee, all blended into one sickening blur. Oh! I nearly stepped into the chaos, but stopped myself at the last second. I was furious. Of course I was. I knew those girls, and this band of barbarians was slaughtering them before my very eyes. I wanted nothing more than to charge in and rescue all of them. But I also knew damn well that me charging in there alone would accomplish nothing. God damn it! Why now? Why here? Why? And how did they get so many men in here? If there were any signs of organized movement, someone would have noticed. I would have heard about it. How did they manage to sneak past everyone we had on patrol? How is it even possible a bunch of damn bandits managed to organize a raid on this scale without anyone catching wind of it? God damn it! There's no saving anyone in the guest room. I need to find whoever else I can get them out through the back. As soon as I had decided there was nothing I could do here, my next job was obviously to minimize any further loss of life. I knew, logically, it was the smart thing to do, but that knowledge didn't do anything to quell the anger roiling around inside me. And then another thought snapped out to the front of my mind, rattling me further. Morgana! She had said she was going to the bathroom, which meant she hadn't come this way. Or so I dearly hoped. But hope wasn't enough to overcome the fear that she had. I searched frantically for any sign of her. More panicked than even I realized. I knew exactly what one of these brutes would do to Morgana if they happened to come across her. A prostitute in decent health they would merely take captive. But seeing Morgana's face, they would assume she had a kind of disease. And they would kill her without a second thought. Morgana! Intending to take my search elsewhere, I set off, my shadow suddenly darkening, but in too much of a rush to notice. No! Ah! Something seemed to crash into me from behind. The world flashed in and out of view. For a split second, the multicolored fabrics around me appeared in black and white. I barely held on to my consciousness. A few seconds later, the pain set in. Gah! My gaze drifted downward to the curious protrusions in my stomach. The tip of the blade sticking out of my gut. Oi! Blood streamed along the metal surface. What? I twisted my body, distinctly aware of every minuscule movement of the blade as it slid through raw flesh back out the hole it had entered. It was almost enough to make my legs buckle. When I finally managed to turn all the way around, there stood a large man, probably grinning. A large man? Let's hope it's not Gracia. He kicked me backward, and then rammed his heel through the gash in my stomach. I let out an animalistic howl. It was a pain unlike any I had ever experienced before. I felt as though I had been struck by lightning. The only thing I had room for in my head was overwhelming agony. And before long, it reached its breaking point. Damn it! And the whole world went black. Yeah. Jacopo! Jacopo! Wake up, please! Open your eyes! I believe it's Jaren, we'll see. How can you have dying on me too? Oh, too. Maria? I'm begging you, open your eyes! Oh. Jacopo! Where am I? The back room of the brothel? I'm alive? Where is she? Lie back down, or are you trying to kill yourself? You're hurt bad enough as it is. I've been bandaged up. It's still bright red. I guess the bleeding hasn't stopped. I'm cold. I swear to God, I was sure I had lost you. Maria, are you crying? You got a problem with that, asshole? I'm sorry. How many years has it been since I last saw her cry? It was back when she was 12, I think. Besides us, there are 2 other girls here. No sign of Morgana or Jaren. This can't be everyone who made it, can it? Oh, I have to see. What did I just say? Lie your ass back down! You need to give it some time to heal before you move around much. Jacopo! Ignoring Maria's pleas, I stumbled my way towards the guest room, leaning against the wall for support. I had evidently lost quite a bit of blood. I was freezing cold and constantly on the edge of vomiting. My body was heavy, like someone had strapped a boulder to my back, and my vision swirled, distorting with each step I took. I knew it wasn't that long of a walk from the back to the front, but it felt like it would take me ages just to get down this hall. Like I was on an endless march towards a vast, empty abyss. Oh. I had braced myself, but what I felt when I stepped into that room was a despair too deep for words. The meager scraps of strength that had carried me this far dissipated, and I slowly slid down to my knees. The door hung open, a blood-soaked curtain flapping in the wind. The deep crimson was a dark contrast against the brightly colored fabric. The girls had dyed it themselves. I could still remember Maria first telling me about it however many years before, her eyes alight with her pride. How, when you put a whole bunch of different colors together, it made the place seem almost otherworldly. And the patrons who had been drawn in by this allure today had not found themselves in the land of milk and honey, but instead been cast into a pit of death. Several corpses lay motionless around the room, their faces twisted in agony, their eyes vacant. What the hell? Why? How could this happen? I asked, stupefied, neither expecting an answer, nor trying to place the blame on anyone's shoulders. It was an empty, meaningless lamentation, powerless as the man who had uttered it. All of us felt the same way, hopeless, helpless, horrified. Not more than an hour ago, we had been having a party for God's sake. Fooling around like a bunch of idiots, the girls complaining about their clients, plates of food specially made for her birthday. Her birthday. Where's Morgana? I couldn't find her. Why not? I'm sorry, I looked everywhere. But I couldn't find her. I'm so sorry. I wanted to tell her I wasn't blaming her, but I couldn't find the words. If anyone, it was myself I was disappointed in. How could I have failed to keep her safe? Why had I been unable to find her? Why was I so damned powerless? This was supposed to be a good day for her. I had wanted to make Morgana's 12th birthday into a special occasion, something truly memorable, to celebrate the bright future ahead of her. And I had failed, in the worst way imaginable. What was supposed to be a celebration of life had ended up in a pile of corpses, most of the surviving girls taken captive, and the brothel in shambles. And Morgana, who it was all supposed to be for, was most likely dead as well. Duh. She was dead. Morgana was dead. Before I had the chance to say anything, the girl I loved was gone. Ah! All because I was weak. Because I hadn't been cautious enough. Because I was completely, utterly powerless. Oh. No. And now, she was gone for good. Before I had managed to make her smile even once. I was going to show her the world? How full of myself was I? I hadn't done a single damn thing for her. Oh. Ah! Physical strength was meaningless for what I wanted to achieve. What good was being number 2 in our little band of peacekeepers if I couldn't even stand up to a pack of bandits? I didn't have any real power. I was worthless, helpless, weak. My sole job was to keep this place safe. And it was painfully clear now how unsuited to the task I was. My initial fears were right. It was only the 4 of us who had made it through the assault. Maria said that, while they had made it to the cellar safely, it was soon discovered and most of the girls taken captive. Jaren included. If only she had quit, left the brothel, taken up singing at the pub, then she could have been spared this. Spared having to be kidnapped for a 3rd time. But because she thought of us as family, because she cared about and wanted to be with us, she was taken away. If I had power, this all could have been prevented. Not physical strength or skill with a blade, but real, meaningful power. Political influence, import. If I weren't a peasant, no one would dare stand up to me. No petty thieves would even consider raiding my property. I could have hired guards to watch over the brothel. The only reason the Lord, that reprehensible man, was still alive was because he had real power, enough to assure his own safety. If I had that kind of power, everyone would still be here, safe and sound. I could have made certain of that. Maria wouldn't be crying. Jaren would still be part of our family. And she, Morgana, would still be alive. She would still be by my side. That one simple thing could keep anything like this from happening again. In short order, Gracia burst into the brothel. Seeing the carnage, he wailed in grief, which quickly transformed into fury. I watched on, only really half paying attention as he raged. He marched over and said something or another, though I couldn't say what. After the fact, Maria told me that I had been in a stupor the whole time Gracia was there. He had apparently tried to cheer me up, though soon found himself frustrated and finally disappointed in me. Disappointed in you, huh? Yeah, because this is entirely your fault, huh? It took 3 days for me to get back on my feet. There was no sign of Morgana's body anywhere in the ruins of the brothel, which meant there was a chance, however slight, she was still alive. I clutched tight to the tiny sliver of hope, searching desperately for any sign of her. Maybe she had realized something was wrong and gone into hiding. But no matter how many people I talked to, no one had seen anyone who matched her description. She was just gone, like a puff of smoke. Which left 2 possibilities. Either she had been taken along with the other girls to be sold off, or she had been killed and her body disposed of somewhere out of sight. While the latter seemed significantly more likely, deep down, I still yearned for even the slightest trace of her. Maria encouraged me to let go, to move on, though I knew her well enough to know it wasn't out of a lack of compassion. The whole affair had visibly taken its toll on me. One day, about a week later, my wound still healing, I made my way through the slums. Nestled away in an alleyway stood the nondescript little shack. I knocked on the door, and a few moments later, its lid barely half an inch open, just enough for the sole resident to peer out at me, suspicion clearly visible in her eyes. But once she realized it was me, warmth filled her gaze, and she waved for me to come inside, a gesture that somehow made it feel like I was being invited into another world entirely. Beyond the door stood a noblewoman who held herself with an elegance and grace unbefitting of the slums, but a darkness that felt right at home. I heard about the attack on the brothel, and that you were hurt. I'm so glad to see you're well. You were concerned about my safety? The woman pulled back her hood, revealing her face. Though her age had clearly begun taking its toll on her, there was still a striking beauty to her, a kind of beauty impossible to attain down here in the dregs of society. Her hair was burnt brown, her skin dark, and her facial structure somewhat similar to mine. I remember then that this wasn't the first time I had seen her, though it was fairly recently, not that many years ago she would have me believe. We had briefly crossed paths on the day of the Midsummer Festival. The woman I had bumped into. That was her. Yeah, that's what I thought. Of course, show me a mother who is not always concerned about her child's safety. The woman's name was Ginevra. Let me double check how that's supposed to be said. Yeah, it was exactly as I thought, Ginevra. And she claimed to have been a maidservant for the previous lord. It was unusual enough for someone of her stature to be living in a rundown shack in the slums, but the story got even stranger. She had supposedly had intimate relations with him. She had borne his illegitimate son, and a month earlier, she had come to me and said I was that child. A month earlier, so this was even before the birthday party. So I kind of wanted to see that part. I know a lot of the things that we've seen so far was already told to us in the main game, but they still decided to show it to us. I would have liked for this part, to have been shown to us as well. Not that it's just being repeated. Says the woman I'd never seen until a month ago. Physical distance has no bearing on a mother's love. If you had gone to speak with the Lord and reveal your lineage when I first came to see you, you would never have been in that kind of danger. Ginevra spoke as though she knew exactly what had been going through my mind this past week. The very words that had dominated my thoughts as I looked out upon the wreckage. If only I had done as she said and asserted my nobility, then I would have had the power to prevent the attack on the brothel, to protect the people I loved. If what Ginevra said was true, the Barney family once possessed more land than even the king. That land and the family was divided up between each of their sons. The Barneys were only a few generations removed from the current royal family, which was why they controlled so much land in the first place. And that meant, though it had diluted with each successive generation, there was still royal blood in the Barneys' bloodline. And a child begotten by the previous lord was more than entitled to a place among the nobility. However, realistically speaking, even if I had lent my ear to her cajolery, it wouldn't have changed anything. Or worse, I could very well no longer be in this world. I wasn't stupid. This noblewoman, she was just using me. There is still time. Go to the Lord's manor, show him. I'm not really your son, am I? Ginevra fell silent for a moment, observing me. I had no memories of my mother. Sure, it might be nice if she were to show back up someday, but it just wasn't likely. Her whole story was extremely contrived. The sun could decide to rise from the west one day, and there would still be not a drop of noble blood in my veins. I knew perfectly well how filthy the blood in me was. Discussions will progress much smoother if we both know what the other wants out of this arrangement. Start by telling me who you really are. Were you actually a maidservant for the previous lord? Yes, I was. She gave a nod, then walked over to a grimy shelf and retrieving a ring that looked very much out of place. It was made of gold, engraved with an elaborate insignia. It wasn't a metal worker anywhere in the slums, or the city proper at that, who could craft a piece so intricate. Look at this. It's the Barney family crest. The previous lord gave me the ring as a gift, and I've kept it ever since, even after our relationship was discovered and I was chased out. I didn't sell it, because I knew I was with child. They will have no choice but to acknowledge you as a legitimate heir if you show them this ring. Why did you wait so long to come find me then? I was afraid they might kill you if I brought you in as a baby. Why were we separated? Misfortune. One day, bandits came and kidnapped you. Presumably they were hired by the Barney estate because they didn't want your existence coming to light. I consider it a miracle you're still alive. I can only imagine the stern look on my face as I listened to Ginevra speak. Part of me did, indeed, want to take everything she said as true. Wanted to believe I was someone important. Wanted to grab hold of the fantasy that I did have a noble blood in me and never let go of it. And had I not come face to face with my own powerlessness a week earlier, perhaps I could have swallowed the delusion. Used it as a stepping stone for my dream to show Morgana the world. It would appear you've done your research. I don't have any other family, to the best of my knowledge. Which does indeed make me a good candidate for you to step in and claim your stake on. If I were to guess, a child with a lord has either passed away, or never existed at all. It's probably true that you worked at the Barney's manor, and it's probably true that you had relations with the former lord. You were chased out, and now you live in poverty. You want to go back to your former, more comfortable life, and while you're at it, take vengeance on the current lord. Or perhaps you simply want the entire noble class to suffer. The specifics of your motives are irrelevant, though. Being a woman, you have no means to accomplish that yourself, so you came up with the idea of using a fake son. If your child was still alive, he would be right about my age, wouldn't he? And we look similar enough for you to convincingly claim we're related. But the biggest reason you chose me is because I made something of a name for myself. Because I was only one of the people involved in inciting the revolt 3 years ago. The perfect choice to spearhead a revolution. How dramatic. The man who set the Lord's slave free was secretly his family. The people who would eat it. The people would eat it right up. So, how far off am I? You're a sharp for a filthy peasant. It would seem I chose wisely. I was right. She was a manipulative, conniving shyster. Shyster? But her insults didn't bother me in the slightest. Those words made so much more sense than any mad claim that I had royal blood in me, that I was some kind of hero. Following suit, I twisted my lips up into a smirk. I was a filthy peasant, and I was fine with that. All it meant was that I had to claw my way to the top. I'm in. Ginevra and I then discussed the details of her scheme, after which she gave me the Barney's ring. I doubt anyone would have ever imagined it would end up in the grimy hands of a slum rat. Once our discussions was done, I headed straight to the pub where the rest of the gang liked to congregate. Good. Jacopo! Should you really be on your feet so soon? I'm fine, thanks. I'm glad to hear it. And I'm sorry about what happened at the brothel. Is the gang here? What? Oh, yeah, near the back. Thank you. Are you sure you're okay? Well, look at who the cat dragged in. Was just talking about you going to whip your sorry ass back into shape. You ain't still moping, are you? I get it, kid. It's bollocks, but you're a man. Instead of crying, you should be... Gracia. Yeah. It's time we started ourselves a revolution. Are you just going to stare at me or actually say something? You're the ones always going on about revolution this and revolution that. I think it's called being shocked by silence. You're serious about this, Jacopo? Am I one to joke about this sort of thing? No, you're not. You sure as hell aren't, are ya? Well, it's about damn time if I do say so myself. I knew you'd come around eventually. I knew you wouldn't stay sulky forever. Things gonna get better once we rip that fucker's head off. Should cut down the number of people turning out to thievery, so we'll never have to deal with anything like that ever happening at the brothel again. Never again, you hear me? Indeed. What do you have in mind, Jacopo? Didn't you say we didn't need help from a noble to have a chance? We can figure that out after we crush the Lord's skull. Yeah, I don't think that's the best plan. What's gotten into y'all? You're always going on about how you want to stage a revolution. Now that we're actually talking about it, you're pussing out? No one's pussing it out. It's just, we have a noble. For real? Well, if you got it all worked out, why don't you just say so? So who's our guy? Who's the noble who agreed to give us a hand? The former lord's illegitimate son. His actual son? Really? That means he could illegitimately inherit the lordship. Whoa, whoa, whoa. How the hell do you get in bed with the biggest fish in the city? If you're telling the truth, this is huge. That don't just give us a leg to stand on. This puts the damn law on our side. How hard is it to set up a meeting with the guy? This ain't some measly uprising. If we're going through with this, I'd like to see our royal sponsor for myself. You're looking at him. Say what? I am the former lord's son. No way, not a chance! Seriously, kid. You need to find yourself a functioning sense of humor, because that just ain't funny. I'm telling the truth, and this ring proves it. It's a nice ring and all, but how does it prove you're a Barney? Where did you, how? This is the real deal. I was a slave at the Lord's Manor for a while. I've seen the family crest enough to recognize it. As I said, I'm not the kind of person to joke about this sort of thing. What? So, wait, you're really... Oh, holy shit, I can't believe it! One of us is an actual noble? You always did seem a little not like the rest of us, Jacopo. More uptight. Pretty sure I said the same thing when I first met you. That you looked like some rich aristocrat kid. This is great, guys. We can actually do this. We can actually make this happen. Let's do it. Let's start a revolution. Yeah! Gracia? No, it's nothing. Just surprised is all. Who'd have frickin' thought? You, a noble. It's madness. How long you known? And why didn't you tell me? I thought we were friends. I only found out recently. I'm sorry for keeping it from you. It all happened very suddenly. I was waiting for the right time to say something. No need to apologize, kid. You just put the wind back in our sails. Don't think I'm gonna stop bothering you up because you're a bona fide stick-up-the-ass type now, though. Of course not. The last thing I want to see is you licking my feet. Alright, fellas, we got ourselves a noble, so let's set the date and get this ball rolling. Yeah! What had once been nothing more than a pipe dream was, against all odds, soon to be a reality. But that soon is going to be another day, because this is the end of today's video. Yes. So, we managed to get a lot happened today. Morgana's birthday, Jacopo trying to convey his feelings, the raid, and the 1 week passed, and he becomes a noble, and they are starting to plan the revolution. So yeah. A lot of stuff happened in a very short amount of time, considering that very little has happened in the previous videos of mine. Either way, we are going to cut the head of a noble next week. So, thank you guys for watching, and an extra thank you to all the members of this channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next one. Goodbye, everyone.